talk over drink. Pull up a chair and let's chill. Let's party, let's talk and let's build. Yeah, alright, let's talk over drinks.
Alright, well, welcome back to another episode of Talks Over Drinks. My name is Fauconier. It's my brother to God, Markel Prines. Good to have you back, my friend.
Good to be back with you, brother.
You have an inspirational quote to start?
Absolutely, as usual. I want to start off the show with the motivational quote. This one right here. Motivation is not permanent, neither is bathing, but you should enjoy both daily. So that's a funny one right there, but I got that from a great speaker. It was Les Brown who actually heard that from. Very valuable.
All right. Well, we're going to get right into the guests. Our first guest on this episode of Talks Over Drinks is a very close friend of mine. We know him as a activist, a local lawyer, and a wonderful public speaker. We're going to introduce Elwood Sandy Sanders Jr. Come on out. Good to have you.
Good to have you, Corey. It's good to see you. It's good to see you as well. And of course, I brought my drink, which is a sweet tea.
That's all right. You get that sweet tea. So, Sandy, we know you in the community, Toastmasters, Crusade for Voters. Tell me about some of the things that you're working on currently.
Well, I also write for a political blog called Virginia Right.
Okay.
It's a conservative libertarian blog. We are not partisan, although I think they tend to favor some of the Republican candidates. And we've talked about some of the libertarian candidates, and we talk about ideas, and we talk about UKIP in Great Britain. And basically what we want to do, I think, without speaking for everybody else, is we want to promote liberty.
Okay.
And so it's an important part of the political bloggers are an important part of the political process. They're a little bit unappreciated, but I think that the way it works out is read the blogs and see what people are doing.
Okay. I know that you have been working to lobby and work for some new legislation. Can you tell the people about indigent defense?
Well, we're talking about indigent defense, which is another way of saying a public defender system, which is another way of saying that the poor have the right to have an attorney if they're charged with a serious crime, usually a felony, sometimes if it's jail time for a misdemeanor, those types of things. Okay. Virginia has a public defender system, but it only has it in certain counties and cities. It's a crazy quilt system. For example, Virginia Beach, the city of Richmond, city of Roanoke, Chesapeake, have public defender systems. But on the other hand, Hanover, Chesterfield, Henrico, and Prince William County do not have public defender systems. I have contended that this system is kind of like the separate but equal. Okay. It's separate and it's never going to be equal.
Okay.
And the reason is because a public defender office, even if it only has a couple of people, you're going to have a sense of collegiality. You're going to know the judges. You're going to appear in front of them. You're going to have older mentors. You're going to have things like sentencing specialists, and in some cases, appellate specialists. And many public defender offices have investigators, former police officers and state troopers and that type of thing, who can go out and interview witnesses. Court-appointed attorneys, as dedicated as they are, and many of them are very, very dedicated to cause, they don't have the system to help them. I think one of the best examples of how a system, an organization has helped the situation is the regional capital offices that they brought in there. Now, 4 regional capital offices. They are experienced. They've done criminal work. They've done capital work. And the number of people who have actually been sentenced to death in Virginia has actually gone down. Now, some people might say, that's a bad idea.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that if we're going to tackle the problems of overcriminalization and maybe mass incarceration, we need to have public defender system. So what I've done, I thank Jesus for it, is I talked to Senator Dance, and Senator Dance is going to introduce a bill. By the time your show goes on, that bill will have been put in the hopper. It hasn't been yet. That bill is going to study the feasibility and the costs of a statewide public defender system, like they have in Colorado, for example. They have a statewide public defender system in Colorado. They have a statewide public defender system in Missouri, but it's probably not as good as I would like to, so I'm not use that. But Colorado has an excellent statewide public defender system. Here's the way, in my view, it's going to work. In 2012, there were $42 billion in the total budget of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Okay.
Of which $661 million was brought in by the judicial branch. Think fines and costs and that type of thing. But the judicial branch costs were only $381 million. Wow. So that's about $280 million profit, if you want to say that word. That's not really the way the government people would say it, but $280 million more than they took in.
Right. Okay.
Now, in 2015, that number's gone up to $452 million, and in 2016, it appears to be $455 million. Here's what's happening in the public defender system. $45 million is being spent on public defender system as it is right now.
Okay.
$30 million is being spent, as I understand the budget, and we could sure use more transparency on the budget process in Virginia, but as I understand it, about $30 million is being spent on the court-appointed system.
Okay.
It pays the fees to the court-appointed attorneys, it pays some costs, and it pays what's called a fee waiver. The fee waiver is where you have like a murder case and you do a tremendous amount of effort and a tremendous amount of hours, and you get sort of a bonus for the compensation. Now, nobody in the court-appointed system gets rich because it's only like $100 or $132 or something for each felony and misdemeanors and $200. It's a small sum of money. People do public defender work. People do court-appointed work for two reasons. One, they're young attorneys and they want to get experience.
Understood.
And number two, they're dedicated. They believe in the system and they want to make it work.
Okay.
Some court-appointed attorneys, though, see all this stuff and see all the money and they end up cutting corners. And it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Right.
When I was the appellate defender, they had the appellate office and it did a few cases. It wasn't big enough to do all of the cases. What we want to do is have a statewide appellate office. If we have a study bill, we're going to find out. What we're going to find out is how much an appellate defender system, a public defender system is going to cost.
Okay.
Because if you introduce a bill saying, let's set up a statewide public defender system, everybody's going to take pot shots at it. How much is it going to cost? Is it going to be $100 million? Is it going to be $150 million? Is it going to be $200 million? When we have a study, we're going to have an idea of how much those costs are going to be. Okay. And what we're going to find out is that all of that $45 million we're already spending. A good amount of the $30 million that we're spending on the court-appointed attorneys, because there won't be as many court-appointed attorneys appointed. There still will be room for court-appointed attorneys, because if you have a robbery and 5 people are involved, public defender office is going to defend one of those. So you're going to have 4 court-appointed attorneys involved in that. Or if you have a situation where here's the defendant and a witness in the case was a client of the public defender office, then they can't represent that person because there's a conflict.
Well, I'm going to say this for you, Sandy. Definitely, viewers, if this show airs, you should get involved in the political process. You should call Senator Dance's office and tell her that she won.
Yes.
Thank her, number one, because it's not something that she may have undertaken without people lobbying. Definitely thank her, but tell her that you want to see that bill go through, and contact your local delegate or senator and tell them that this is something that you need to see to come through.
That's right.
Any final words, Sandy?
Well, I think if we have a study bill, we will get answers. Because they did a study bill a few years ago for the judges.
Okay.
And what ended up happening is that then we knew what districts needed judges. And we knew what the cost of all of it would be. And now we have more judges. So I think if we can accomplish these things, we put this study bill out there, then people will know what the real costs and what the issues are that I believe is an inequity in the system.
Understood. Well,
now, I do have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Where do you think that extra money is actually going?
Some of it might have to go to what they call the literary fund. But I suspect a fair amount of it ends up in the general fund. But the answer to that question is, of course, based on the transparency of the budget. And unfortunately, our budget is just it's not an easy document to go find information in and try to find answers. Okay. I feel like I had to pull teeth just to find some of these answers.
Okay. Wow. Well, we're going to have a great debate. Definitely thank Senator Dance.
Yes, yes.
Sandy, we'll have you back on future shows. We may have to have him as the legal correspondent.
Absolutely.
We're going to go ahead and cut to commercial. This is Talks Over Drinks. Cheers.
Right, I want to welcome everybody back to Talks Over Drinks. And my brother Corey will be introducing us to the next guest that we have on.
Next guest, if you in any part of the East Coast, y'all should know them, but Central Virginia, these brothers are powerful with the music, with the community activism. I'm going to welcome the Soul Logistics crew, the Unknown Icon Doug Evans, and the Soul Singer Rodney. Y'all come on now. Yes, sir.
Peace.
History. What's good? We're gonna mix it up a little bit. No doubt.
All right.
Y'all,
Good.
Rodney,
brother.
y'all have a seat.
Nice to meet you,
All right.
man.
So I'm gonna set it off because this my people, man. Yo, Soul Logistics has the best mixtape I ever heard in my whole hip hop life.
I read that.
And you know, I got to cut it right there. He's told me this before, multiple times over a 3-year period. He's told me, and we've had a lot of stuff come out, and he still says that every time.
Anytime there's a new mixtape, Soul Logistics, like, I just have to ask y'all. First of all, thank you for coming. How did y'all get started?
Man, we gotta make a long story short. Let's make a long story.
Cut to the chase.
Yeah, right, let's do this. All right. I was at home playing PlayStation. My life was good. I was cool. I got a call from a guy. He was in Pittsburgh. He was like, "Man, you wasting your talent, man. Let's do something, whatever, yo, Joe Burnham." So I said, he sent me some beats. I said, I'll listen to him if I do something. So he sent me the beats. And I came up with an idea. I said, people tired of how radio sound right now. So let me come up with a concept, a mixtape. But if you put it in your deck, if somebody got in your car, they'd be like, what station is that? Well, it's a CD. Okay. So he said, I know this other brother that can sing.
Okay.
You link up with him, he could chop your music up for you. I was like, all right. It was him. Right, it turned out to be my brother-in-law. That's a whole other story.
Okay.
That's a whole other story.
Okay. So high school together, man.
Right.
High school together.
And JD Hayes, me and him.
Shout out to Hayes, yo. What he said, he said it's JD Hayes from the Nat Turner Clique.
Yeah, and ancestors. Yep. So we put that together and we put it out. And, you know, at that time, people was like, yo, the elders was like, well, we don't listen to hip-hop. But I would give them the mixtape, and they would come back and say, I don't listen to hip-hop, but I like that mixtape. And it was a conversation that we was doing. We're doing grown-up conversation over hip-hop beats, pretty much. That's what we was doing.
Okay.
And so it was crazy how the elders was like, people don't even listen to hip-hop. Was like, yo, I mess with that. You know what I mean? For some reason. And then it just took off from there. And we couldn't get it played on a lot of radio. You know what I mean? So we developed our own radios. You know? We couldn't get videos, so I started shooting my own videos.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it just spawned from that and just kept moving. It's crazy. And it wasn't a group, it was a mixtape, right? So people was like, yo, why don't y'all do a show? It was like, show? We ain't even got a group.
Everybody get together, right?
You, come on, and let's do this show. Okay. And we did the show. It was crazy.
It's up in Richmond. Matter of fact, one of our first shows was
in Richmond. Okay, it was like Richmond. The 5 Heartbeats. It was like the guy was. It was a positive place. It was tropical soul.
What year was that?
It was
up 2nd Street.
I can't remember. I'm not good with dates, but listen.
06.
It was tropical soul. People was like, yo, you want to play the tropical soul?
Yeah.
That's the
positive
vibe, positive, pro-black, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh yeah, let's go. Man got there and said, was like, introduce a cats from Petersburg, like, boom. Yeah. I was like, what the? I thought you told me there was a... Oh yeah, but they got a problem with Petersburg cats. I wish you had told me that before we drove up here.
But y'all got on stage and you tore it down.
Right, you already know.
Okay, let me tell you. So,
you already know.
2010, they did a Hip Hop for Haiti benefit after the storm. And I think that was my first time going to Petersburg. And wherever joint y'all had it at, the little chicken hut. Right. People were parked, like quadruple parked. Like you had to, the DJ had to stop playing and say, the dude that owns these 4 cars gotta move so I can get off the curb. Yeah. But when these brothers got on stage, the whole place knew all your lyrics. Yeah. And the vibe in that little space that you had just to do something for somebody else was crazy. And that's why I say, y'all have been inspiration. I don't think I'd be doing this
Wow.
if it wasn't for like y'all,
Wow.
the Reggie Fords, the Markel Prines, the Carloses. Like you guys put the battery in my back to say you could try to do something a little bit different. So Rodney, what's going on with your music?
It was well, like I said, first of all, what you were saying, man. Throughout, how many years it's been? It's been going on how many years? About 10 years. It was every day. It was just hard work.
Okay.
You know, so when you put that hard work, you get the the good results.
Right.
Right now, in 2016 is going to be a good year.
Okay.
But I got some new music.
Okay.
About to come out. This year has been good. I've been trying to set up a lot of things and stuff. But 2016 is going to be a good year. I want to bring back the soul music. A lot of us, like you said somebody said it's a lot of the soul is out of hip hop. I kind of feel with as R&B music, which I love R&B music, it's kind of missing that soul as an element. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be able to try to put that back in there, but not just on as R&B level, but more on it's a more of a wider
level.
Okay. Level, because like I said I like the Beatles, I like the Bee Gees, I like as Older Red and the Marvin Gaye, the whole thing. So I'm kind of like I just believe in soul music. Right. Soul it comes from soul.
No doubt. Okay.
So that's what I got coming up 2016.
And I know Corey just mentioned that you've been a great inspiration and motivation to him. Who inspired you to get started and do what it is that you're doing?
Well, I'm a self-motivated person. I don't look at really people to get. I look at what people are not doing to get motivated. Like people that go to work every day and just pay bills. They might go on vacation and that's it. That motivates me to do something. I was doing a radio show. A guy called in. He had a book, and I'm like, yo, he's in prison, and he authored a book. And he's in prison. Right. So we out here, and what are we doing?
No doubt.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, for real, like. And so I'm a self-motivated person. Like, people like use your haters as your motivation. I don't need haters to get motivated.
Right.
I just don't. You know what I mean? Life is enough. You should be motivated enough. You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do?
One thing I say about this guy has been the same ever since we, did the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he's been a good inspiration to me as well.
Okay.
When it comes down to say what you mean and mean what you say.
Okay.
And that's what this guy represents. Me, I would say it's my family.
No doubt.
My family really, because coming from where we came from, it was kind of, it's hard sometimes, but I knew that one thing that we had, which was music that brought us together.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? That no matter what it was in our house, wherever we played, everybody, it's involved. So that was it's motivation. Music really helped me through a lot of stuff. Like you said, man. So I use today for my soundtrack for my life.
No doubt.
Everything that I do is, you know what I'm saying. So that's my motivation.
If they're trying to catch y'all, I know you on the radio still. Where can they tune in and check you out?
Every Saturday, 6 p.m. 91.3 WVST. You can listen online at vsu.edu/WVST. Or you go to TuneIn, download that free app to your phone, take us everywhere you go. Okay. We got the Flashback Fresh Fest that comes. We just had Houdini and Sunshine Anderson last year.
Right.
So we branding that. So we just,
No doubt. So tune in to y'all, check y'all out. Do the same with you, Rodney.
Saturday, check us out.
Thank you, brother.
Nah, man, appreciate it. It's all love. You know what I'm saying?
I read the thing. I read it when you put it on Facebook. Okay. And you don't know how much that really meant to us. I mean, when I read it, because that was back in it's 06 when we did that.
Right.
And then for you to still, we're like, wow.
Because y'all planted the seed. You said music is the soundtrack of your life, and you don't realize what was planted. And like they say, we mentor the young people. Right. You know what I'm saying? They may not get it now, but it may be 5 or 6 down the line, years down the line, that we water it, get some sunshine. We may not see the tree grow, but the tree's going to end up growing.
That's right.
At some point in time. We're going to cut to commercial. Soul Logistics, Doug Evans, the unknown icon. He should be known now.
Yeah.
Rodney, the
Right
soul
now,
singer.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Peace to JD Hayes. We're going to catch you on the next show. This Talks Over Drinks. Cheers.
I want to welcome everybody back to Talks Over Drinks. My brother Corey here will be introducing our next guest.
Next guest is somebody that got me involved. You know, you can't just sit at home on the couch and watch television and not do anything. So my next guest is Myra Griffin. The name of her organization is Get Involved RVA. Myra, if you could come on out.
How you doing?
Nice to see you.
See you. See you too.
Myra.
All right.
Great to see you again.
All right. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for being here. I appreciate you taking time. Now, I'm going to set the stage for this one. Because I went to 7-Eleven on Jank Road. And the clerk at 7-Eleven had flyers on the desk that talked about how many times merchants on the Jank Road corridor were robbed. And the clerk was mad at me because I didn't know. She was like, you didn't know? And this group is going to get together and do something and change the community. So, of course, I took a flyer, and that's how I met Myra. So, Myra, if you can tell us a little bit about what prompted you to create Get Involved RVA and the changes you're hoping to make.
Well, I live off Jank Road, and one day I was just walking, and there's this big beige building right there on Jank Road, and I kept saying, you know, that would be a nice spot to have a police department. So I got together, I was talking to my husband about it, and I was working at Chippenham Hospital at the time. So I said, maybe if I can get some people that can make a difference to listen to me, then maybe we can get a police department, because living in Southside, if anybody know anything about Southside, we're the last. Nobody really give us the opportunity that we need, give us the things we need to function. So I went to Chippenham Hospital and I asked the CEO of Chippenham, could I use his name? Because I knew if I called City Hall, I would be number 1024.
Right.
So he allowed me to use his name, and once I did that, then I called City Hall and told them that me and Chippenham was trying to get a police department, and everybody wanted to listen.
Wow.
So just that one name in particular allowed me to have other resources and talk to other people, and people were starting to listen.
Okay.
So then I went door to door, and I made flyers, and I said, you know, we're going to have our own town hall meeting. So I got with the Lucille Brown School,
Okay.
and the principal was all on board, and some other good friends, Barbara Ingram from Heritage Senior Home, and Diane Hart, and we just put this thing together, and we just decided that we were going to have a town hall meeting, and we went door to door with flyers and asked people to come out, and asked Michelle Mosby to come out, and so that we can figure out how we can have our own police department. So we went to Lucille Brown School, and I thought I was going to have maybe 20 people. And how many shows? I mean,
75,
people
80.
just kept coming in the doors, and there was just so much support because everybody knew we needed it. So Michelle Mosby came, and we asked questions, and we had the Captain Emmett Williams there, and so we were just trying to get something done instead of waiting on the police to do everything. You know, we have to get involved ourselves. And I kept saying, we just need to be getting involved. And my husband kept saying, you know, you keep saying get involved. You know, that need to be your slogan. And I said, yeah, it does. Well, that turned out really good. And then I kept saying, you know, we need to start doing more stuff in the community. We need to really get involved and stop saying it, and stop waiting on the police to do everything. So I felt like if I put a job fair together for the community, that it would cut down on some of the crime. Because if people have something to do, then they won't be in your house.
Trying to take yourself.
Exactly. So again, this is when I met Corey, and Corey said, you know what, I want to get involved myself. I want to be a part of what you're doing. And so, which he is a part of my association. And so we met, and we kept meeting, and we met with all the right people, and we put this job fair together. And I think, were you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly, you were there too.
At the table.
So we were hoping to have maybe 200 people. We were lucky to have 200 people to show. And so I was glad just to have that. And then I get a call. First, people at my job was like, this job fair is getting ready to be really big. It's all over Facebook. I mean, you got over 800 hits. And I'm like, whoa. So everywhere I went, everybody was talking about the job fair. Right. So, I called all these companies. I called about 50 companies. Right. And I said, I need you to give people jobs. Right. This is what I need you to do. Okay. So a lot of people showed. But then the day before the job fair, I get a call from City Hall saying, we expect over 1,500 people to be there. And I'm like, whoa. So you're going to have to get event insurance. Wow. I mean, all of this 24 hours before, and I'm freaking out because I don't know anything about that. I'm just having a job fair, right. So I went and got everything straight, and I got some insurance it was out in California. The place was going to close like in 20 minutes. Oh, and if I didn't get it, this job fair wasn't even going to happen. So we got the insurance and everything rolling, and I asked people to be there at 5 o'clock or 5:30. 5:30. I show up at 4 o'clock. There's a line around the corner at 4 o'clock. Yep. So I was like, this is getting out of hand. It just kind of freaked me out because I didn't realize how many people were going to be there, how many people needed jobs.
What was the feedback that you received via email and in person at the job fair as people were coming and going through the building?
It was unbelievable. People kept thanking me for having a job fair because, this is so awesome. Thanks for doing this in our neighborhood. And so I got Paraline, which has always been supportive, and I've got Chippenham Hospital. I got over 20-something volunteers. We used the library to do mock interviews, and then we used the lab to do help people with their resumes and everything. And Michelle Mosby came out and she said, "What can I do?" And she did mock interviews, and so we had a system going. So when you first came in, if you needed help before you went to see a potential employer, you would go get your mock interview, get your comfort zone, or if you needed someone to tweak your resume, we had people in there to help you there. And then we had people to guide you down to where the potential employees would be. So we had everybody straight. But over 800 people showed, and over 300 people got jobs. Oh, wow. It was incredible. And at 8:30 at night, we were still turning people away. Yeah. The Food Line parking lot was full. Right. People were parking 2 blocks over. People were just walking. I mean, people were just coming in from everywhere, and everyone kept saying to me, I want to help you. This is my name. Right. Next time you do this, I want to be there to help you. This is awesome. When are you going to have the next one? I'm still getting that. Good. So it was just so awesome, and the next one that I'm doing is going to be, I'm going to do it for felons. Okay. And that's going to be done hopefully sometime in the beginning of next year. Okay. So we're putting that together, and then we're going to go again to maybe Mechanicsville and do another job fair. But that's what I do. I love to help people. Okay. I work at Virginia Union University right now, and I try to help those students as well. So much support there, and it's just a good thing. I mean, Corey came on board, and he put me with all the right people, and we're always thinking about so many positive things to do, but people have to get involved and stop saying what need to be done, well, just do it. Just do it. Stop waiting on other people to make that change and make those differences. You have to do it yourself.
Wow. I definitely appreciate you for allowing me to come, and I saw the response myself with all the people that came through the door. I had the table right next to actually the police department, and me and the gentleman had a great conversation, and he was telling people about how they can be police officers and go through the training. And the people started coming in, and it was a couple of people at a time, and I had flyers, and I was giving out information on how a person could start their own home-based business and be self-employed. And next thing I know, I just see a flood of people come in, and the line was just around the auditorium. And I ran out of flyers and brochures. I just had to pull out my business cards, hey, here, and speak to a group of people at a time as the line was just forming and moving. But it was an amazing turnout. So definitely, whatever you have going next, I want to be there to help support again with the next job fair.
Awesome. Style Magazine came out and did a story. We made front page on that.
That's good.
And 7:30 the next morning, I got a call from Walmart saying they heard about the job fair and that they would never miss another one.
Oh.
So just to have Walmart on board, that's a whole lot of jobs for people. I actually now still have, I reach out to all of those employers, and I'm just still, people are still calling me for jobs.
Right.
They're calling me on my job for jobs. And I'm just making phone calls and sending them down there. And just the support in the system, I mean, in the community, it's just been so awesome. And I'm hoping and praying that I can continue to help people.
That's right.
Well, that's all right. Well, Myra, I definitely appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really
appreciate
appreciate
it. To
it.
help you in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out. Myra Griffin, Get Involved, RVA. We're going to cut to a commercial. This Talks Over Drinks. Cheers.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this week's show. And stay tuned for next week's episode. We're going to have a lot of amazing guests on that show also.
Talks Over Drinks. Cheers.